So I'm just going to check out a wharf that's just off the highway. Highway's in behind me here. It's on the St Croix River, which has the Bay of Fundy tides. And I checked the tides, and it's about 1 o'clock, and high tide's 2:40. So the water should be coming up, but it's a nice old pier, and I'm hoping to see. The sky is not ideal for long exposure, but got some of the old dead grass in front, water in behind, and see what happens when we get there. I hate these things, little barbs. I don't even know where I got them. So that's the pier, and it's nowhere close to high tide, so I don't know what I was looking at, but I'll have to check it again, but it's almost low tide. I did double check it. It is about 2 hours and 50 minutes to high tide, and you can see it's got a ways to go. So it does, I guess it fills in the gully there first, and that about half the tide coming in. So it's about 54% full is what it says. So, but it will come up in line. Yeah, probably can't see here, but spinning around. And you can clearly see the water line on that old pier. But the shot I anticipated shooting, I won't get that here at that time. So I'm gonna see what happens using this foreground, like these weeds here or grass, and try to get the pier in.
I wanted to use the posts as leading lines, but that leads you into the buildings across the river, which I'd rather not have in the frame. I'm now going to walk out over here, but under all this grass is the mud that you can see over here on the other side, and depending on where you step, you can sink in pretty deep.
The sky is just so boring. I snapped a few here, kind of picking out a few compositions. I'll probably end up going black and white, but took some shots of the mud too, kind of against there. But I want the water up higher to have kind of the water in between all these posts, but I'm not waiting around 3 hours for it, so we'll do that on another day.
Well, I'm back at the wharf. I was gonna do a sunrise shoot this morning, except we've been clouded in pretty good the last little bit. And although today's not a great day, I don't know if you can see the wind. It's pretty windy out today, and there's a little bit of precipitation. But I'm at the wharf. It's about 45 minutes before high tide, and then I'm gonna try to do what I did earlier. Go for some minimalist shots, long exposures with high tide as opposed to just the half tide, but you'll see the difference in that water level. And yeah, so let's get out into the windy cold.
I'm working on my first composition here, so it's telephoto. I'm using the wharf in the back. So I'm using the wharf in the back over here, and then there's a building in behind it. So there's a building in behind it, so I'll probably do a square crop, and then my focus stack. So I was going to try to do a long exposure, except it's really windy. It's also super cold. It's about 0 degrees, but it's too wobbly. I can't even do a 1 second exposure without the posts being blurry. So I'll just go without it. So this is going to be a focus stack. So one for the infinity and one for the pier. And then I'd probably go with a square crop.
I ended up using a 5-4 crop instead of a square because the post on the left, which extends past the rest, was too close to the edge.
So I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty cold. The body hasn't adjusted to these temperatures yet. Winter's on the way. But you can see that water level. So we're about 15 minutes away from peak high tide, and we do have a full moon, so it should be pretty high. Should come up pretty good. So I might try jumping up on this post again to kind of get the shot going out before it gets even higher. So it's pretty windy up here. Sometimes you'll have a bald eagle perched on this little guy, and he was here when it first pulled in, but I don't see him around. Got a couple seagulls flying around, but a neat little spot.
You can watch the tide come in. The post I was standing on is now surrounded by water, and it's only been 10 minutes.
I've been trying to do a long exposure just a little further up and isolating just a few of the pier or wharf posts. A wharf goes along the coast, pier shoots perpendicular in. This one's kind of at a weird angle, so pretty sure it's a wharf. But yeah, I can't even get like a second exposure because it's just too windy. And if I drop down, which is what I want to do, so I'm shooting high, and if I drop down, then I get the horizon in the line. I kind of just want the post with water on the top and water on the bottom, kind of like the shot that I'll show here.
So this is the type of shot I was going for, with a very optimistic 30-second exposure. I can really soften the water, but at the expense of blurry posts, and therefore not a usable image.
So those two lead lines were pretty much pushed together. So I'm being optimistic here, trying this shot again on the pier. So I just have my camera here, and I'm going to be blocking the wind, or that's what I'm trying to do while getting the soaker, because the water's raining on me. But it's about 2-second exposure, but if I try enough, maybe there'll be a gap in the wind, and I'll actually get some sharp posts, but so far no luck, but we'll see. That wave definitely went in my boot.
This is certainly a better result than my previous 30-second attempt. This was 1.6 seconds with me trying to block the wind, but it is not sharp, but it did have some nice textures in the foreground.
That post there that's caught some of the grass is the one I was standing on, and I got water right up to my feet here. Start to rain, so I'm probably gonna call this shoot pretty quick because I'm getting pretty cold. So, but yeah. Well, back in the warmth of the car, that didn't prove to be a very good outing. Just way too windy to do what I wanted to do, which was long exposure. So I tried to change up, and again, it didn't really work because the whole idea was the long exposures there. But we'll see if any of that turned out. But at least you were able to see the world's natural highest tides at work. With the Bay of Fundy, or that area there is the St Croix River, but it's attached to the Bay of Fundy, so it has those high tides. But yeah, so thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. See if I can get the one I was initially trying to do. All right, cheers.